All right. Well, it is so exciting to have you here, Charlie. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Excited to be here and excited for the growth you've had on ConvertKit and to, share some more insights into how we run things as a company.
I know, right? So I've loved ConvertKit for a very, very, very long time. I believe I found it through Amy Porterfield.
Nice.
And then just growing as a business, you have to have email. So that's what we're going to be jumping into today. So with that, let's just jump right into it. In your own words, why do you feel email marketing is so important for creators and businesses?
I think email is important because it's a space that you can own. We put a lot of focus as creators and as a business into growing on social media because it's a good way to get a lot of reach and get in front of people. But as we also know that social media companies, they can change their algorithm anytime they want, and that can seriously impact the reach you have and like the way you can access and reach your audience. Whereas email is like, it's been around for a long time and for a reason. It's a way to directly go from you into your subscribers inbox. Algorithm be damned. And that's why I think it's really important for creators to do that, have that one-to-one connection with
A
their
hundred
audience.
percent. 100% agree. And like just some quick stats. I think I read this off the top of the episode, but like $1 spend is like an impressive $36 return, usually return on investment with email marketing. So it is not dead, people. It is very much
Nope.
alive and well and doing amazing. Do you have any other stats that you might be able to share around email marketing that you might have just in the back of your mind?
Ooh, I did not prepare any off the back of my mind. I will say that as a creator myself, my email list is one of my most engaged places that I reach my audience. I have a YouTube channel that has like 220,000 subscribers, something like that. And I'll get maybe a few thousand views per video. I have an email list that's about 18,000 subscribers, and a good like 45 to 50% of them open every newsletter that I send. And so the YouTube like channel numbers might look more impressive, but the email list is where I know I'm actually reaching people more often. So
Oh,
yeah,
100%. And that's the
email's not dead.
exact same. The exact same thing as I see. My average open
Really?
rate is about 46% right now.
Nice.
And then the average click-through rate is like 4.1, 4.11. So it's like I want the open or for the click rate to go a little higher, but I still know that for industry standard, those are above industry standard. And
Oh
it's like
yeah, that's
just
great.
how you play into it and how you actually nurture the people that you're, I guess, sending your email to. It's not about marketing in the old sense of like all these crap emails you used to get where people are just literally just selling things. It's you're sharing a journey and you're sharing your journey with the people who actually want to read about it, and you're helping them. And that's where I think that an email list can really grow and really get those high engagement rates and high open numbers. So that's amazing. ConvertKit has positioned itself as the go-to marketing hub for creators. How has the company been growing to support their users? Because I know that there's lots of new things that have come about, lots of new things that are
Hmm.
coming. So what are some things that ConvertKit has been doing to kind of find their way into the market?
Yeah, well, you sort of touched on it in saying that we're for creators, right? This has always been at the heart. ConvertKit was started by Nathan, our founder, over 10 years ago now. We just had our 10-year anniversary in January 2023. But he started it because he, as a creator, was finding other email tools lacking. And he was like, it's just that they're built for these like different types of businesses. A creator business is very different. It's kind of like this mix of B2B, B2C, like, you're an individual, but you're also a business and you got different needs. And so that's always what we've been trying to do, is build email marketing features and tools, marketing tools, monetization tools, but for creators specifically. So they're always going to be who we have at the top of mind. I think we do have some like, more classic small businesses or like real estate companies using ConvertKit, but they're not the people that we think about when we build features. No offense to them. If they're finding value in the product, that's great. But we think having that focus on creators is what's setting us apart and what's allowing us to continue to serve our main customer base of creators. Yeah.
Awesome. And I'd have to agree, as somebody who's done email marketing before, I was with, I'm not going to say who the provider was, but it was very clunky and very stuffy. And when I came over to ConvertKit and I tried it out for the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, this is just so much more
Oh, I love
easy to
hearing that.
use. And I also really loved the visual automations because people learn differently and understand the world differently. And being able to like have the visual aspect of it, it'd be like, okay, it goes here and then this goes here and then this happens and then this email gets sent out. And just being able to like mentally see that and visually put that out there made it so much easier for me to actually understand what was going to happen when somebody signed up on the list and what emails they were going to get, and that it wasn't going to get messy. Because sometimes you're like, you can have so many emails that you're like, okay, I don't want them to get like 30 emails on the same day. Like you got to
Yes.
pace things out. And I really appreciated how sleek and easy the hub was to use. So I can definitely say that you are there for the creators, and it comes across in the product that you can tell it's built for creators because it's visually stimulating and also easy to use.
I love hearing that. Yeah, I agree. As a creator myself, I love visual automations too. And I think creators are visual people usually, right? And so that does make sense.
Yeah.
Something came to mind actually, because you asked like what we're doing to continue to support creators. We launched a feature earlier this year called Creator Network, which is a way for creators to support other creators, which we think is pretty cool, and it's really helping. I know me personally, I've had like a serious like hockey stick type list growth because of it, which is really fun. Yeah, it's a way to recommend other creators. So when someone signs up to your list, you see like, these are the creators that I recommend if you want to sign up to them too. And it reminds me of the YouTube collaboration days, honestly. I've been on YouTube for nearly 10 years now. And so that was how you used to grow on YouTube in the early days, was to make a video with another creator and you'd be on their channel, they'd be on yours, and you're like, your subscribers see them and go join them. And that's what the Creator Network feels like to me. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I can't remember where it's like borrowing other people's audiences in like a good positive way, that it's like, I want to support the people who support me and I support them.
Yeah.
And it's like all these people coming together, be like, hey, go check out this person, they're super cool.
Yep.
Or go look over here, they're really cool and doing good stuff too. And we need to support each other, especially in today's economy and the way the world is going right now. I feel like this is almost like, what's the word, like the diversification of working, where it's like, you don't have to just be in the cookie cutter over here. You can work a job and do all those things, but like, we need to find more ways to support each other and have those small businesses on the side. And this is a great way to be able to do that and support that, so that everybody's getting a little piece of the pie, instead of just like one large group getting, or one small group getting a piece of the pie and everybody else kind of just gets the dregs of what are left.
Yeah. Or like, again, it's another way that you can grow without relying on social media algorithms, right? Because maybe your tweets or whatever X posts you're supposed to call them now.
What is it? What is it now?
maybe yours aren't getting in front of people and they're not getting as much reach as your friends is, but your friends is doing well and they're driving a lot of traffic to their sign up, and then you're getting like a little cut of that because they're kind enough to recommend you. So yeah, I think it's really a nice way for creators to support each other.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I never teach any of my clients to build on social media. Not like don't do it, but like just don't depend on it, because if you are building it, you don't own it. And it's great. It's like building your property on leased land, and you're like, it's rented. You don't actually own the land. If they want to come and knock it down and clear it away, they can. And so what you want to do is you want to build your email because you own that. That is property you own. Your website is property you own. Those cannot be taken away from you. Social media is meant to amplify that message, and it's great as a tool, but to lean on it completely and depend on that, it's not as important as some people think it is. And for me, sometimes I just want to look at people and be like, do you just want the vanity of it? Or do you actually want a business?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think that it's really easy for us as creators or business owners to find a lot of joy in those vanity metrics. Sometimes they can make you feel good, right? When they're growing and like, oh, everyone can look at my page and see I've got this many followers. That's not the same for an email list unless you choose to say, right, how many subscribers you have. And so it can kind of be a more private success in a way. But, you know, the vanity metrics are the most important thing.
Yeah, I mean, the likes are always nice, but I prefer, I guess that maybe I'm more of a private person. I rarely post on social media. Like I'll post on my Instagram once in a while, but I found that I feel right now like the world is in a weird switching place with social media. People are being like, oh, I don't like all of this mess. Like this is too much. It's too loud. It's too shoving things in my face that I don't really want. And I'm finding a lot more people are going towards email again because they find the people they really like, and then they just want to support that people. Have you noticed any new trends happening in ConvertKit in that regard?
I don't know about new trends, but it's more like maybe that people are realizing what we feel like we've been saying all along, is that email is still important, email is still relevant. And there's a lot of new newsletters springing up. That's definitely been really cool to see, that newsletters in particular are having a resurgence. I feel like email marketing maybe never went away. Businesses were always finding value in email marketing, but to run a newsletter where like the email itself is a product, that's really still having a moment, and people are finding a lot of success and joy in that, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, it's definitely having a renaissance. I've noticed that for sure. There's been a lot of like businesses popping up around it, and like a lot of news reporters and people are putting out those paid email subscriber newsletters, and they're having a
Yep.
lot of success. And so it's, it is what it is. I want to go back to when you said that you had a big uptick when you released your creator network. And I want to jump into like
Yeah.
the next part, because I did have a giant surge. My email list grew by over 12,000% in less than 7 days, which is like an insane number in my head. But I'm like, oh my goodness. And yes, I have the receipts if people want to see. Um, I keep it real with my crowd. I went from like 65 emails, because what happened is I left one business, and so I cleared my email list of everybody. I'm like, this is no longer the people I am serving, so I don't want to just have you on my email list. So I cleared it out down to 65. And then it was slowly kind of inching up. But then when the creator network came about, and more specifically SparkLoop, when that partnership
Hmm.
happened, it was like boof, 850 within a week. And I was like,
Nice.
this is huge. So can you tell me a little bit more about the recent acquisition of the
Yeah.
newsletter growth platform SparkLoop?
Yeah, so we're super excited to have SparkLoop now as a like ConvertKit subsidiary. We were just on a team retreat last week, and I got to hang out with a few of the SparkLoop team, and so that was really cool to have them as like part of the ConvertKit family now. We saw SparkLoop just doing great things for creators, like helping them grow, building these growth focused tools. The SparkLoop referrals, Upscribe, which is like their version of Creator Network that's cross-platform, because on Creator Network, you're really just recommending other ConvertKit creators. Paid recommendations as well through SparkLoop. There's all these ways for creators to grow their audience, but also earn more income as well. And we really like that they're a cross-platform tool, that you don't have to be on ConvertKit to make use of SparkLoop. That's still the way that it's going to stay. And yeah, we're just excited to be able to integrate SparkLoop more closely into the ConvertKit main product, so that you can access a lot of those features without having to leave like the ConvertKit app. Is our
Yes.
end goal.
And it was just game changing, because the way that it's all laid out, so that everybody knows, is I'm in both. I have my ConvertKit, which I love, and then SparkLoop.
Nice.
When it started, I was like, I have to get on this because I have to try this out. It is one of the most affordable ways to grow an email list that is actually a warm and engaged email list. And that is the biggest part I think people don't maybe know or recognize right now, is that if I go out and I'm advertising on Facebook or socials or wherever, Google, what have you, I'm paying anywhere from $5 to $10 for that acquisition, depending on what it is, depending on what I'm trying to get the customer to do. And you're spending so much money on clicks that aren't going to go anywhere. Whereas in the SparkLoop program, I set up the parameters that I was going to have for myself. So I said, okay, I'm going to pay $1.25 for each email that I have sign up to my newsletter. But those parameters are still within 30 days. They have to still be on my email list and engaging with emails. So it's not just like, oh, the moment they come on, I'm paying for them. It is, no, they come on and then they're still engaging with my emails 30 days later. Then they get to stay on the list, and then you pay for it. And so, all those emails that don't actually continue to stay, or they're, cold emails or whatever, they get removed right away through automation systems and ConvertKit, which is also
Nice.
magical. And then that way you're building an actually engaged email list that wants to hear about all your stuff, and you're paying such an affordable rate for it. It is so insane. So the moment that happened, I was like, I need to talk to somebody at ConvertKit.
And even cooler is that you're paying other creators. for
Yes.
that too. You're not paying, Facebook and Google. They're getting enough money from other sources. So this is just another way for creators to support other creators, is to choose to invest their advertising budget essentially into this. And I think you're right. Other people are seeing this too, that it's the way to get the engaged subscribers, because
Yes.
it feels more personal, right? When a creator is recommending another creator than when you're seeing it as like an ad on Instagram or an ad on Google. If someone you trust is saying, hey, you should check this person out, like I've vetted them, I've decided that I want to align my brand to them by recommending them to you, then you're just going to trust them more. And you're right, it's going to lead to more engaged subscribers. They're going to be more relevant. They're going to be more interested from the get-go. And ultimately, you're supporting another creator by running these paid recommendations too.
Yeah. And that was probably one of my favorite parts about it, is that I felt so much better about supporting, quote unquote, the little guy or the little gal or the little person, and being like, making sure that everybody's getting that piece of the pie. And I'm just like, I'd rather spend my money there and support individuals who I also know are entrepreneurs and doing their thing and hustling the great hustle out here. And that made me feel really good about that part of that business. And so I was really excited when this all came about and like started. So you already said you don't have to be on ConvertKit to use SparkLoop, but if somebody is in ConvertKit, how can they get access to the SparkLoop?
Yeah, so SparkLoop is included as part of our Creator Pro plan, that you'll get like a SparkLoop account. You can run a referral program, you can run paid recommendations and all of that. Anyone can recommend creators who are using SparkLoop though, through ConvertKit and SparkLoop. So what that looks like for me is when someone signs up to my list, I have 3 like recommendation slots that get seen. 2 of them are free recommendations. So this is just like me recommending mostly other design content creators, because that's what I make content about. So it's going to be most relevant to my list. And then I have 1 slot where I recommend people from the SparkLoop partner network, and I'm being paid to recommend them. So that, like you, I will get a small cut if people sign up and choose to become an engaged subscriber of those lists. And you can set that up all directly through the ConvertKit Creator Network feature in the app. Decide how many paid slots you want, how many free slots you want, who you want to put in those slots, if you want it to be randomized. You can control it as a creator, which is also different from, I think, other tools that maybe, the platform itself is deciding what newsletters are relevant to recommend to your audience. On ConvertKit, you are deciding what's relevant to your audience.
Yes. And I loved that feature, because there are people who it's like your friends, your genuine friends, and people you genuinely want to support. It's like, I always want to have you at number 1 or in that group. And then everything else can kind of be like randomized, like go crazy. But like this person, always show them, because I really, really love them and what they're doing. As you know, and as being somebody from the LGBTQ community, I also take it seriously, finding out who the other people are in that community and what they're doing and where we align, so that I can support those people, because I know that those businesses maybe don't get recommended as much or don't have as much highlight. So I make sure that the businesses I am choosing have gone through that kind of like, okay, are they part of the community? What are they doing? Let's do this. Let's support. So that always makes me super happy to do that.
That's awesome.
As a company, speaking of as a company, and an organization, have you felt ConvertKit has done work to make you feel included and valued as an employee? Because I think this is really important to ask, not just like you're a rep, but like, what have they done to actually make you feel like, oh yeah, I love being here?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. So I have been on the ConvertKit team for nearly 7 years now. And this is the longest time I've ever been in one job. And I would not be here if I didn't think that it was, a great place to work, and a place that I've honestly managed to grow as a person as well as in my career. One of my favorite things about ConvertKit as a company is the level of emotional intelligence on the team. I think it creates this like great psychological safety to like literally be able to cry in front of your workmates and have it not be a big deal. And I've done it many times, let me tell you, like so many people on the team have. And it comes from the top, comes from leadership. Nathan himself is a guy who's very in touch with his emotions in a way that I've never seen in a male leader in business before. And right on the first time I met the whole company at a team retreat, he was telling us his life story and why it matters so much to him to help creators earn a living. And that was because he grew up with his family not having a lot of money. And it led to led to troubles for his family. And he was crying in front of us. There was about like 25 people in the room, maybe, as he told this story. And I saw that happening and I was like, wow, there is a different way to do business, right? Like, it doesn't have to be cutthroat and serious and like leave your emotions at the door. This is focus time. We're all humans, and this is part of it. This is part of how we do our work. And so that's been modeled, like, right from that moment. I was like, oh my gosh, I can be myself here, you know? And from then on, I feel like I've just brought my whole self to work every day at ConvertKit through all the ups and downs. And it's stayed a great place to work as we've grown as well.
I love that. I love that because that's how I am. Like, I'm like, to be able to see companies like that, and it seeps through the work you do. Like, you can almost feel it on the website. You can feel it in the work that you put out and all the workshops, because at ConvertKit, you do tons of workshops and lots of free things for your community. And you can feel that energy and you can feel the love that is there. And that's why it's so different than other platforms that I've used, that I'm just like, I can feel the difference in this company. And that's what I want to help promote, and where I want the world to move is like, yeah, we're all humans. We all have to make a living, but we don't have to fit those cookie cutter shapes that we used to have before. Like, things change and evolve. Humanity needs to change and evolve. And it sounds like ConvertKit is doing just that and taking care of their people at the same time.
100%. Yeah. And that, like, honestly, being a company that cares about diversity is a way we can serve the creator community too. There isn't one way to be a creator, and creators don't look just one way, right? Creators come from all different places. Like, there's just such a wide range of creators, and we want to make sure that that diversity is represented in our website, in the content we put out. And so we do place a lot of focus on that, because we know how important it feels to be represented.
And it is important. And no, that's why I asked you to be on the show. Are there any exciting new features being worked on that you might be able to give us a sneak peek at?
Ooh, well, something that I know is coming soon is Creator Network recommendations in emails. So right now, recommendations really only happen when someone signs up to your list. So you're recommending creators to new people to your audience. I'm really excited to see what happens when we give you the ability to easily insert like a recommendations block into an email that you're sending out to your already engaged list. Like, how many more subscribers can you drive to these people you're recommending? How many more will you get when, creators who are recommending you do the same? How much more can you earn from paid recommendations by doing this? So that's something that's coming up soon that I'm pretty excited about.
Amazing. I love it. I really love that because it's going to make things so much better. Lastly, I just want to ask, if somebody has a large email list and they want to move over, they've listened to this and they're like, ooh, we need to get on ConvertKit. It just sounds like a better option. How easy is it for somebody to be able to do that?
Yes. Okay. So we have a free migration service that, like, I lead our brand studio team, and I recognize that I need to do a better job of making sure people know about this service, because people are still surprised to hear about it. So you're hearing it here. We have a team of experts who know other email tools really well. They know ConvertKit really well. And if you've got a list of, I think it's over 5,000 subscribers, they're going to handle it all for you. Like, it's a white glove service where they'll learn from you what forms you want to update, what lists you want to bring over. They'll get it set up in ConvertKit, all for free. If you're signing up to a ConvertKit paid plan. So yeah, go to ConvertKit.com/migrations. The whole shebang. Right? We're going to set it up for you. Oh my
goodness. That sounds good, because I know CSV files and all that. It's easy to import. I did not realize that they will also go through all of your landing pages and all the things and make sure that those are repurposed and reset up and all that.
Yep, and they design email templates so that you can bring that over and have it look the same. I think the exact amount of things they do depends on the size of the list you have that you're bringing over. But yeah, definitely reach out to the team, fill out that form on ConvertKit.com/migrations. And Becky is my team member who handles that, and she'll get in touch with you.
Perfect. I'll make sure that gets added, migrations, into the show notes for everybody. Nice. Awesome. Well, is there any last little things, any tips or advice you'd like to give all the listeners out there before we head off today?
Ooh, if I give one piece of advice for finding success with email is to remember that it's like one individual opening your message in their inbox on the other end. So you brought it up before that you don't want to be just like selling to them all the time. No one wants to be shouted at like that. Just treat them like a person. Just talk to them. Pretend you're writing to them just like you'd write to a friend in Gmail. And I promise it's going to go down well, and you'll build a really good engaged list who is there and ready to purchase from you when you have something
Oh, I
to
fully
sell.
agree. Fully agree. It's like that, you know, that random person who pops out every once in a while. It's like, hey, let's go do this. And you're like, we see each other once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
You're not going to trust what they have to say. But if there's that friend you see every
Mm-hmm.
week and they say something, you're going to trust them a hell of a lot more. So it's like you need to
Exactly.
nurture your email list like weekly to make sure that you're always top of mind. You're always there. You're always supporting them, so that when you do ask them for something, go, hey, buy this or this product or whatever, then they're instantly more likely to be like, yes, because I trust you. That no like trust factor is there if you built that sustainably and
Exactly.
consistently over time.
Well said.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Charlie. This has been absolutely magical. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate the work you do over at ConvertKit.
I appreciate you too. Thanks for inviting me on, and congrats again on your great email growth. Looking forward to hearing about you doubling it again very
Awesome.
soon.
Yes, for sure. Awesome. Thanks so much.